Patrick Long, driver of the 45 Flying Lizard Porsche. During an endurance race, there's often a lot of interruption. But thanks to Porsche, you're going to be able to enjoy the American Le Mans race Monterey.
And this program will be presented with fewer commercials. The Central California coast, home to the greatest meeting of land and sea on Earth. And one of motor racing's most iconic corners. Officially, it's Turn 8 at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, but aficionados call it the corkscrew. A tortuous left-right combination that sneaks through the chaparral, cresting at a blind apex before descending 9 stories. It's not madness, but it's close. And it might make the difference between being a podium finisher or an also-ran. For 6 grueling hours, the best sports car drivers in the world will negotiate an 11-turn torture test. Here, courage and stamina mean as much as speed and strategy. Buckle up. It's speed pushed to the limit. Racing into darkness, American Le Mans Series Monterey, presented by Porsche. Race day starts early. Hours before the green flag drops, support races are going full tilt. But the big boys aren't watching. They're back in their paddock, finalizing race strategy.
6-hour race, keep the big picture in mind. Be calm, be patient. If we got 3-4 car, nose to tail, don't run, a car length back. Don't run too close, especially not in the first 4 or 5 hours. There's no need. It's part of being calm and patient.
If you lose a sense of that, we're going to be on the radio and tell you, back it up. Because it's an easy place to lose 2 cars.
We'll let the race dictate what happens.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong, yeah. We'll have a chat with Corvette so they don't run over our left rear wheel.
5 minutes to the command, 5 minutes.
The command, of course, is, gentlemen, start your engine. Soon as a relative turn, drivers are waving goodbye to comfort and stepping into speed for 6 long hours on Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, an 11-turn, 2.2-mile masterpiece of motorsport. It's a mix of technical challenges starting with Turn 1, a tricky double apex named the Andretti hairpin, and blazing speed as cars kiss their red lines, summiting Rahal Straight before twisting through the corkscrew. Add the off-camber Turn 9, and know that if a driver is quick here, he's quick anywhere.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give the command.
Dyson Racing took the pole, setting a new lap record in the process. Risi Competizione Ferrari was the fastest GT qualifier. And way back on the starting grid is the Patron Highcroft car. They entered the weekend tied for the series point lead, but a rules violation penalized the prototype team to 33rd on the grid. They'll be behind 32 cars in 4 different classes. That's part of what makes the ALMS some of the most interesting racing on the planet. The series features 4 different classes of sports cars, all racing on the track at the same time. At Laguna Seca, 6 different manufacturers will compete in GT. BMWs battle Jaguars, Ford takes on Chevrolet, and Porsches face Ferraris.
Some fans will really love the GT cars. I'd love to see the Ferraris, the Corvettes, the Jaguars.
Grand Touring or GT cars are based on production platforms. They actually have a lot in common with cars at your local dealership.
You can look at our Corvette and tell that that's a Corvette, whereas in the LMP car, it looks much more exotic. It's like an Indy car with fenders.
The Le Mans prototypes, or LMPs, are the fastest cars on the track, and where manufacturers test new technology for the showroom. From aerodynamics and drivetrains to clean-burning alternative energies.
To see a prototype going around the track at light speed is amazing.
Supplementing the LMP and GT classes are 2 challenge classes designed to develop up-and-coming teams and drivers.
You've constantly got excitement going on every part of the track.
There are races within races.
Cool cars, very high tech.
The atmosphere is just sexy.
Stand by for the start. Hold it. Green flag, green flag.
And green, as you heard being called. There is the flag being led, and it is the 16 car that leads them out. Is Clintfield's already moving up down the inside, challenges for the lead, up on the curb on the left-hand side, can't quite get it done, he's in second, and Klaus Graf trying to get back round the outside.
In a 6-hour race, overly aggressive passes on lap 1 just aren't worth the risk.
I'm surprised to see that Dyson is actually trying to protect the lead on the side-by-side going up to turn number 6, and there was a little wiggle there from Dyson, but he hasn't got the pace up the hill. What he's done there, he's compromised his speed there, and that could give up the position. Paul Drayson has gone off the circuit. I was just about to say he was doing very nicely in 4th position.
Yeah, that was a great first lap there from Clintfield. I'd say that's the best first lap that Clintfield has ever done. He was patient down into the first corner. He waited for his opportunity going up the hill there, and he took it incisively and quite beautifully, and has already put some distance between himself and that second place car of Chris Dyson.
Dyson dices up front, Patron Highcroft is actually the quickest car on the track and moving through the field fast.
Working his way through traffic up to position 13 is Simon Pagenaud, who started in the back of the grid, and now he's got through the majority of the GT grid. Now he's got the prototype challenge cars to go by.
He had to keep his nose clean. He appears to have done that. He's worked his way through all the GT traffic inside 3 laps, which is a pretty remarkable feat in and itself.
Pagenaud's going to sit there and qualify the car and try to catch up. He probably will over the
So we just stay in map 1 and run this pace.
And we can run longer than Pagenaud, which can help us out later.
CBS Sports Spectacular presents the American Le Mans Series Monterey, presented by Porsche. Sponsored by Porsche. There is no substitute. And by Michelin. A better way forward.
The battle in GT is absolutely outstanding. Jamie Mello in the 62 red Ferrari leads.
Dirk Müller at the wheel of car number 90, holding off still Jörg Bergmeister in the best place of the 2 Flying Lizard Porsches. And Dirk Müller had an off this morning in the warm-up, a very uncharacteristic mistake. There was quite a lot of damage to that car, but that team has worked incredibly hard to get ready for this race.
All of the rear end of that car was completely deranged. There was bodywork damage. And we're getting a good look at the Crown Plaza number 90 with the blue number on the bonnet.
I'm feeling really bad. Sorry, guys.
Okay, Dirk, we'll get her fixed.
No sympathy necessary for the German. Lots of drivers and cars find themselves out of shape on this very challenging course.
Well, a lap at Laguna really starts with the last turn of the racetrack. You've come down the hill, you're carrying a lot of momentum and usually a lot of adrenaline. The front straight is one of the only straightaways that goes 8 stories up and then down 6 stories on the other side. Into turn 1, hard on the brakes, down to 2nd gear. Not a lot of grip, the sand blows across. Turn 2, another bending right hand to turn 3, which is a momentum turn. Lift, a little bit of brake, settle the car, accelerate. Up to 4 under the bridge. If you're really brave for this turn, no brake, just a little bit of lift, especially in a prototype. up the hill, into the horizon. Now's where the fun really starts. We're just about at the top of the corkscrew. When you turn left, you know that 46 or 48 feet down below you, there's going to be pavement. And you go around a fast left-hand sweeper that a lot of passing takes place in. Continuing to go downhill, more than 12 stories from the top to the bottom, a fast right-hander into that famous last corner. Momentum and as little brake as you can afford. That's the fast way around Laguna.
The race is not yet 10 minutes old, and already the Muscle Milk Porsche is stalking the pole sitter.
The pace is good. I mean, we're where we want to be.
And Klaus Graf saw a door, a chink, and just slightly ajar, needed no second invitation. And fair play to Chris Dyson, gave him racing room there.
Yeah, good job being patient through there. I know that was a racy situation, but good job.
We only have another 5.5 hours to make up for it. I know.
Further back in the field, the LMPC leading Green Earth number 99 can't shake the surprisingly quick number 55 car.
Now he's got to get his head back together really quickly here and not lose the position to the car that's now right behind him, which is Christophe Bouchou. He's had his own problems. He's right on it and down through Schwann's curve. Dirty tyres, I think he's drifted wide, but Bouchou has the confidence and the experience to pull the car back online.
We got to talk to him. He should have known way better than that.
Patron Highcroft is charging hard and willing to try anything to make up ground.
We've got a battle for second place at the corkscrew, and round the outside, Pagenaud tries to pass on the dirt. Well, we've seen it done in IndyCar, but I'm not sure you can do it with a sports car. Indeed, clearly, you can't.
He was trying to pull a Zanardi.
The 88 GT Challenge car was kind of in the way there, unwittingly, of course. Pagenaud tries to take the Alex Zanardi shortcut there and didn't pay off for it.
Alex Zanardi, he is not.
As Chris Dyson hangs on to second place overall by the skin of his teeth.
It's a long race. It's a long race.
The voice of reason.
Yeah,
the voice of reason, Rob Hill.
There's 3 to go. 3 laps to go. Pack is on the straight. Pack is now on the straightaway. Those are the kind of numbers we're looking for. We need those kind of numbers. This will be a driver change. Driver change in 2 laps. Keep it coming, lad. I need really strong lap times.
Mazda's Zoom Zoom reputation is well earned. To this day, they're still the only Japanese manufacturer to have won the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
They started as a racing company, and then they became a production car company. So they're thoroughbred racers all the way.
Dyson Mazda knows the value of bloodlines too. It's a family affair, with son Chris Dyson driving and his dad Rob calling the shots.
I grew up around the sport. You know, you absorb so much through osmosis. It is really a family sport.
There you go, Dad. There you go.
The speed and competition and camaraderie are the kind of common grounds that everybody seeks.
It's a great atmosphere, driving for a family team.
We can all be trying to evaluate a problem or trying to troubleshoot what's going on with the car, and 99 times out of 100, Rob will come up and go, why don't you check this? And that's the problem.
But I was a garage kid. I mean, I had my head under the hood of a car rather than studying for a test.
It was pretty ambivalent about me coming into racing. He understood that I was drawn to it because I'd grown up around it, but at the same time, he's fully aware of all the risks.
I don't mention it much to my wife about it. It scares her to death. She had 35 years of me doing it, and now she's got who knows how many years. There we go, boy. I look at it with pride, passing on to the next generation.
I think the team is gelled. The reliability is there. I think it's going to be a great year. I think we're going to be on the top step a lot more frequently, and I think we're going to be able to fight for a championship.
Deep into hour number 1, Dyson runs third behind the Muscle Milk Porsche and the surprising Intersport Lola number 37.
And a pass for the lead at the same time as Klaus Graf took his opportunity, but he's gone wide, and here comes the 37 down the inside and takes it back. Can somebody tell these guys this is not a 20-lap sprint? John and Clint Field love to go and play with the big boys, but this is by far and away the best run we've seen this car for quite some time.
For up-to-the-minute sports news, real-time scores, outspoken writers, exclusive video, and award-winning fantasy sports, go to cbssports.com.
That's an engine.
That's a turbo.
Oh, dear me. What a shame.
Starter, black flag car 37. Black flag car 37. We need to get that car checked in.
Field just blew up. Field just blew up in one, so you need to watch it there, man. There's oil everywhere.
Look to the right rear of that car, and you'll see two sets of exhaust, one either side, and there's a lick of flame. And I'm afraid I don't think that engine is long for this world, Jeremy, and that is such a shame. That has been a top quality run for Intersport and for Clint Field. New leader then, Klaus Graf, just under the hour. He leads it.
But not too far behind is Simon Pagenaud in car number 1. 7.5 seconds was the gap last time around.
While Muscle Milk Team Cytosport is enjoying the lead and a clear track, the Dyson team has traffic and trouble.
It's okay, buddy. You did a good job. The car is prepped. I'm trying to hang on. That's what I'm saying, man. You did a good job hanging on. No, I don't need full confidence. The car is not good to hold guys off. Copy that, brother. So what if we do change Chris after the first stint? What's the plan?
The LMP leader is the number 6 Muscle Milk car. Number 55 Level 5 Racing leads LMPC. Black Swan Racing number 54 leads GTC. And the Risi Ferrari car 62 leads GT. A Dream in Maranello Red, the F430 is a car you could own. Almost.
You go to the American Le Mans Series, you can see a car that is a car that you might drive.
That is a Ferrari you can go buy. It is a Porsche or a Corvette you can go buy.
We have all different cars, different engines, just like in the real world. You know, it's more interesting than having everybody have the same car.
It gives fans the opportunity to cheer for their favorite brand. You know, one of the reasons that I think that the Corvette is you could argue, the most popular car in the paddock is because of Americans' love affair with it.
I think that's where future racing is. You know, if you could have a 50 or 60 car field of just cars that they can go down to their local store and buy, that's going to capture an interest level very seriously.
It doesn't hurt that GT racing is always close. Cut and thrust stuff. And so it is today.
Risi due a pit stop, so is Drayson Racing. And at the moment, Jamie Mello is desperate to hold on to P1 in the GT category before he pits.
Even in a 6-hour race, pit stops are crucial, and teams have to be ready to adjust to anything.
Chris, we're going to do tires for sure. You're going to pit 7 laps. We're going to do tires for sure. Do you want to stay in? Am I going to have to do a double? It's up to you, man. It would be better if I got out. This lap, Chris. Pit this lap. Pit this lap. Driver change fuel and tires. Driver change fuel and tires. He's in, guys. We're ready for you, buddy. Pull your drink bottle.
Dyson Racing elects to change drivers early. Unexpected, but not a problem for car 16. Trouble comes over the radio anyway.
Pit lane speed violation. Car 16 plus 2 zone 6. Stop and go penalty. In the penalty box.
Hour 1 is in its final minutes, and the GT class leading Ferrari makes its first pit stop.
In comes the Risi car, stops on its marks, the fuel goes in. Now, of course, whilst the fuel's going in, nothing else can be done by changing the driver.
The rules of the ALMS state, you got to have a teammate all the time. Even on the shortest race of the year where you may not need a second driver, you're sharing the car.
You have to share the same setup, same car, same seats,
same pedal box.
It certainly is quite something different. I mean, you see like NASCAR and Formula One, they have their own car, and everything is centered around that one car and driver.
You only win an endurance race if your teammate is good as well.
They need to put their egos away about who's going to be fastest or whatever. It's not about, hey, I set the lap record and you didn't.
You have a responsibility during your stint to hand over a good car, not to have bashed it.
Multiple drivers means that you have to compromise on race setup, but also you have to get a driver change done pretty quick.
We can generally change drivers in about 22 seconds. Sometimes it can take 32 seconds. And if you make that mistake, then you can lose the race.
That's definitely one of the highest adrenalines in a race. Okay, he's coming in, don't screw this up. Here's what I have to do with the pedals, with the belts, with the radio, with the driver ID. There's a lot of repetitive motion that you go through in your mind.
And then once I'm in the car and buckled in, it's all about going as fast as I possibly can.
The Team Cytosport Porsche RS Spyder is flexing its muscle. It has the overall lead and never seems to need fuel.
Do we like our pace? Should we just settle in and run, or should we just let him roll?
Klaus Graf still out. Has Klaus actually stopped yet? I think this is why he's got the lead.
They've probably been using a lot more fuel.
Possible.
And we've been lean the whole time.
Yeah. Everybody, nice and easy here. Nice and easy, okay? We got a good thing going here. Nice and easy.
What a fantastic run then for Klaus Graf. Not only fast, not only smart, but my goodness me, that Porsche V8 engine, super, super good on gas mileage.
As fast as the muscle milk Porsche is on the track, they're that slow in the pits. And their leisurely stop cost them the race lead. Racing into Darkness will return after this message and a word from your local station. The LMP and overall race lead belongs to car number 1, Patron Highcroft. In LMPC number 36, Genoa Racing leads, while the number 62 Risi Ferrari remains atop GT.
And it's still the number 54 Black Swan racing car that leads in GT Challenge. James Sofronis in the GMG group car is right behind him in second place and pushing hard.
The LMPs and GTs get the lion's share of publicity. Too bad, because the challenge classes bring a lot to the series.
The two challenge classes are LMPC, C for Challenge, and then GTC, again, C for Challenge. Basically, they're spec classes. We all have to run the same tire. We have to run the same kind of cars. So really, it comes down to the drivers and the team to make the difference.
The racing's really, really good. It's really tight, and it's a lot of fun.
Level 5 Racing and Green Earth Team Gunner are tied for the LMPC points lead. Over in GTC, it's as if Alex Job's 3-year hiatus never happened.
We had 3 cars at Sebring. We finished 1, 2, 3, swept the podium, went to Long Beach and finished first and third. Pretty close to perfect as well, so the season's been fantastic.
Oh, there's the 12th car. This is Pierre Arret, who's been in the car since the start.
Yes, he's having a hard time getting that car cranked up again and underway. He's losing a lot of time.
Full course caution, full course caution.
Taking advantage of the yellow, the GT leaders pit. But while the Risi Competizione Ferrari is first in, it looks like it will be the last to leave.
think the BMW's leapfrogged into the lead there, Jeremy, because I didn't see any other GT car rolling before they were.
Car 3, stop and go penalty in the penalty box, running over an airline. Green flag, green flag.
Oh, they ran over their own air hose. We thought we'd got rid of all this pit lane nonsense from them at Sebring.
I know it's a pain, but we're still in good shape.
Is that Dan Binks talking to him now? He's just trying to cool him down.
And that's frustrating. What are you supposed to do? You can't do that. I mean, it's going to happen with somebody else. Hey, no problem, man. You did your job. I appreciate it.
There's the leader, Simon Pagenaud, coming through the final corner and onto the start-finish line. Now watch behind. Where is Klaus Graf? What does 13 seconds mean on this race circuit? Watch for the white Porsche prototype. There it is. Comes across the line. Well, I tell you what, I think he's made better headway through that traffic. Oh, and just as I say that, the GMG Porsche cuts his nose off.
Traffic's brutal.
35 cars in 4 different classes means today's racers have an obstacle everyone who's ever been behind the wheel has faced: traffic.
ALMS, it's somewhere between a race and a fight. It's not like IndyCar, you know, where you have all the same cars and they're real sensitive about touching each other and all that. We kind of, you know, we go at it. Cars all get scarred up, scratched up. They tap on each other a little bit.
There's some championships around the world. If you're coming up to a slower car, the slower car has to get out of the way. That doesn't happen in our series.
You can make time or lose time passing the traffic. Some drivers are better than others.
One little small hiccup with the traffic can either win you a race or lose a race.
That takes a lot of mental willpower and awareness and everything to get through the race unscathed.
Driving in an environment like this requires being really aggressive but not stupid. And if you're timid, you just get run over.
The number 1 Patron Highcroft car is maintaining its lead, but traffic remains constant.
Oh my goodness me, that's the Krone Ferrari. We've got also there the Mission, the 81 GTC car. That's all at turn 5.
Tracy Krone was in the meet in the sandwich there. He had the opportunity to back out of it and let the GMG car go through. He elected not to do so and made contact.
Only hours earlier, the Rahal Letterman BMW was in pieces. Now it's going to great lengths to avoid trouble.
The BMW went a long way wide. That was the leader. He's gone up on the curb in his defense, but I think there's contact there.
If that wasn't avoidable contact, I don't know what is.
Rahal's protest falls on deaf ears. It's his BMW and not the Ferrari that's penalized.
They looked at the review. I understand. I can't see it.
Bruni's car's damaged pretty good.
There's the evidence at the scene of the crime. You don't need CSI to tell you that one, do you?
Full course caution, pits are closed. Full course caution, pits are closed.
Sure, burn more fuel, create more horsepower. But how do you do that and preserve the Earth? The ALMS is working on it.
It's been fantastic to see the series get more and more into the green issues.
The American Le Mans Series is at the vanguard of green racing. They not only test and push the technology forward, they put their money where their mouth is by using it in every car. In all, they run 5 different alternative fuels, and it's some pretty exotic stuff, like cellulosic ethanol, clean diesel, and isobutanol, even hybrid technologies.
It's a great place for manufacturers to come and test their technology, because if it can go out and survive 12 hours at Sebring or 24 hours of Le Mans, it's got a chance at then going into a road car, and there's no better place for making things lighter, stronger, faster than proving them in the racing.
Hour 3 begins with LMP leader Muscle Milk trying to stay ahead of Patron Highcroft on the track and in the pits.
We just have to be ready to do what they did at this point. That's the way it needs to go.
Okay, Simon, we are pitting. We are going to pit now, pit on this lap. This is driver change.
All right, guys, goggles, gloves, everybody nice and clean here, okay? Nice and
Guys, dot the I's, cross the T's. Just do everything nice and smooth. Just do your jobs.
Just match. We are not in a disadvantage to them. Huh? They are in the same boat than us.
Absolutely, that's good.
The bad thing is going to be Dyson.
Turns out the car Muscle Milk needs to worry about most is their own.
Got a spin, turn 11, car 6.
Looks like there's some electrical issue with the Spider. Those lights are flashing.
Muscle Milk's spin opens the door for Dyson Mazda, which only pits for fuel, allowing them to exit the pits first and take the race lead.
This is the battle for the lead, and look how close, with David Brabham flashing his lights, look how close that was.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
As Andy Merrick wanders across the road there between turn 4 and 5, very unconventional line to make sure that he blocks any attempt by David Brabham to make that pass.
The GT cars carry less fuel and pit more. Now the class's frontrunners are all pitting. The defending class champs Flying Lizard Porsche emerges first. They lead GT for the first time today.
If you look at sports car racing, the history of sports cars, Porsche has won more races than any other make.
Well, obviously reliability has always been the big thing with Porsche. And, you know, the long races, you can never beat that.
Our flat 6 boxer engine has had so much success in sports car racing. It's really about going fast, but being very reliable. Porsche is the defending champion of this class for the last couple of years, so we have the target on our back, and we want to keep ahead of those Corvettes and Ferraris.
Radio check.
There are a lot of obvious things that you have to do to build a winning race team. You have to have the technology. You have to have the funding. And when you get to this level, what sort of separates the best is a commitment to winning. Put everybody's egos aside, look at mistakes, look at what we can do better, continuously learn.
As soon as he tried the spring, he said he had rear locking. So I think we got down into the spring now, but that made the rear too nervous.
One of our competitors is doing something that's important better than we are.
It had pretty good grip, a little pushy down the main straight.
Our job is to figure out what that is.
It wasn't bad, it was drivable.
And figure out how to beat them.
The Muscle Milk car has sustained damage from its spin, but it's not terminal. Drayson, running third in the LMP class, isn't so lucky.
Probably could have been, you know, third at the moment. It's really tough. Stiff upper lip and all that.
Give me a try, Chris.
And we get the very sad news that the Drayson prototype is out of the race.
Disaster.
And they will not get points.
Yeah, motor racing is a bit like this. You have these moments. To have the gearbox go like this is pretty hard to take.
Stand by for the restart.
The trouble with trouble is, you never know when it's coming.
Green flag.
Green, 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 green.
He's made a mistake.
Oh, no, he's put it in for the rest of the field.
We got contact, turn 11, driver's left.
Oh, and there's big damage on the left front of the 16 car.
Oh, disaster.
He just went a little bit too deep into the final corner, Jeremy. You could see he was in trouble before that happened. He's too quick. He misses the apex by a country mile. He's actually out. So unlucky for both of those drivers.
And how David Braddon managed to miss that spinning number 16 car is absolutely incredible.
Full course caution, pits are closed.
Patron Highcroft, dead last in LMP at the start, is now in P1. Dyson is back in the pits, damaged but not daunted.
CBS Sports Spectacular presents the American Le Mans Series Monterey, presented by Porsche, sponsored by Mazda. On any given weekend, there are more Mazdas road race than any other brand. And by Yokohama. Technology drives better tires.
Halfway into the race, and the lead GT cars are running nose to tail.
This is world-class GT racing. Bill Oberlin leads it, and look back to Jörg Bergmeister. Wrote him off earlier on, but remember we were saying he was 8th position, Jeremy. Couldn't get the car to work for him as the BMWs have gone to the front and their pace has improved. So has that Porsche.
It's a little bit of a strategy game right now.
All right, when the pits are open, we will pit. There'll be a driver change.
Some people are taking tires, some aren't, some are staying out. So everybody's a little offset in their pit stops.
BMW in there. Everybody ready.
But I think in overall pace, we're about a 3rd or a 4th place car. But I think there's going to be strategy and also some attrition that plays into the finishing results. So we're looking good for a podium.
BMW and Corvette are atop the GT class, but in their wake are two fast-flying Ferraris, closing quickly.
Ferrari right on you. Make them work for it.
Here comes Mello down the inside. That is a tremendous pass. I'm not sure he was completely in control of the front end of the car.
Closed, full course yellow. Pits are closed, full course yellow.
As a full course caution comes out, and he got the pass in just at the right time. The Ferrari pass that we saw was after Dirk Muller had already made the pass on Johnny O'Connell. So Johnny actually had lost 2 positions there. Dirk Muller, one of the slew of BMW drivers benefiting from working with such a renowned talent as Bobby Rahal.
Bobby Rahal isn't just a team owner, he's a racer himself. He stood on podiums from Indy to Sebring, a legend.
I used to watch Bobby Rahal as a kid.
When you first meet him, it's like, wow, this is, you know, a real star in racing.
The car is better, though? You like it? Because I did drive, I understand, you know, what they're going through.
Plus 16, you're doing great.
I know what I like to hear.
Go to ESC 5 or 6 if you want.
I wanted to know.
Let's get some heat in the brakes, get some heat in those tires.
Sometimes the driver will talk to the engineers or what have you, and there's something lost in the translation. They can communicate to me, and I get what they're saying.
He's talking about like he's still in the car. It's absolutely amazing.
He knows, you know, how to get the best out of the drivers.
All right, let's push hard here, Joey. Push hard. We need to catch up to those guys.
In the end, I think having a driver as an owner is a better thing for a current driver. If you've driven before and been successful, you know, there's a high expectation too.
All right, pits are open. Pit this lap. Pit this lap.
As pit stops are underway, the pits are open.
For Team Gunner, second in LMPC, a routine pit stop is about to become anything but.
touch the car till the fuel.
No!
Why you? You can't touch the car until the tires are done.
It's an unbelievable lapse in judgment, and the officials saw it plainly. The only question is the penalty's severity.
He knows better to do that.
Not going to call a penalty.
Thank you.
But consider it a warning, a stern warning.
Huh? We're busted, but he's going to let us slide. He said, you just got a Christmas present.
The pace car pulls off. We have 3 hours and 37 minutes in the books, and we're racing again. 2:23 to go at Laguna Seca, Mazda Raceway. Side-by-side action coming out of the final corner in the GT category as we head back towards green flag racing. David Brabham is already off and gone, but the battle is at the head of the GT field where Dirk Muller in the 90 BMW is right in the middle of that scrap, and he is losing time to the Ferrari behind him. That's Jamie Mello who goes to the outside, tries to get it done, bumper to bumper. He's going to be on the inside for the next right-handing. Trades paint with the BMW ahead of him. Can't get the pass made.
62 Ferrari is damaged.
Keep an eye on that Ferrari.
Has to cut across in front of him there. That's a little bit naughty by Muller.
The number 62 Ricci Ferrari is proving to be fast, beautiful, and a bit of a bruiser.
There's a touch. The 88 car gets hit by the second place Ferrari, Jamie Mello, into the back quarter panel of the 88 Challenge car. The damage to the front of his car, which is getting worse. The aerodynamic effect of ploughing through and pushing a hole through the air at 160 to 170 miles an hour is ripping the front of that normally pristine Ricci Ferrari to shreds.
Loss of aerodynamics means the handling goes, speed suffers, and track position slips with every lap. There is no choice. The Ferrari must pit.
Ferrari's pitting.
Kind of fixing it. They're pulling it with all their might. I mean, there's a whole bunch of mechanics here pulling it where he fits at the front of the car. Yeah, they're pulling off, they're kicking, literally, the left front quarter panel off that car. And, well, this is costing a lot of time. This is very, very costly for the Racing competition.
Racing into Darkness will return after this message and a word from your local station. Auto Week and the American Le Mans Series are giving you a chance to win a 2011 Corvette Grand Sport and a trip to next year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. Go to AmericanLeMans.com now for info. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from Auto Week and the series. That's AmericanLeMans.com. Deep into the fourth hour of the race, the Extreme Speed Ferrari and the Corvette are locked in a wicked battle.
Van Overbeek picked from second place in GT. This leaves Magnussen to take second. It's a full service and a driver change for the 01 car. And that means that getting in is Scott Sharp. Oh, and we've got a Ferrari stopped running up the hill towards turn number 6 now. Oh, this is going to be a full course caution.
Full course caution. Pits are closed. Full course caution. Pits are closed.
I'm not sure they want a full course caution at the moment because their other car is in the pit lane. And they don't want that car to be disadvantaged. And in fact, that car with Scott Sharp has not fired up. Now it does. So problems for both the ESM cars.
The Extreme Speed team is young, and while they've had their share of trouble, they've got two things going for them: Scott Sharp and Patron. No doubt Scott Sharp has star power, but last year's prototype champion is now wearing a new hat, team owner and GT driver.
First off, I've got an incredible relationship with Patron, and that's our 6th year together. And when they come to you and ask you to go start your own team, it's almost like it's a dream come true. I helped Patron come to the ALMS. We really felt the higher demographic here can come activate. If we can have a consumer tent where consumer can walk in and sample Patron while they're seeing the Patron car win in races, jackpot. I'm not in this to run 5th, so everything's got to be right. When you start picking your players, it's a lot like, free agency and other sports. You got to go get the best guys you can get. Good crew chiefs, you got to go get some good engineers. Every role's significant, every role's important.
Extreme Speed spends a lot of time finding the right man for every job, but Scott found his co-driver mostly by chance.
I didn't even really know Johannes. I bumped into him a couple times in the paddock, said hi, didn't even really know how to pronounce his name.
All teams are a little bit different. I was fortunate enough to be involved with the startup of Flying Lizard Motorsports, which won the championship the last 2 years in a row.
Here's a guy that comes from the team that just won 4 of the last 5 championships. Hey, I'm free agency, man. I'm picking people.
You can pick your crew and your drivers, but not your luck.
I come out of the turn 16 leading on the long back straightaway, and I look, and the back of the car's glowing. Look over here, back of the car. I'm on fire.
Team owners don't think like the rest of us.
So many people are like, oh, you're on fire. Did you feel heat? I wasn't even worried about it. I'm like, this is going to be expensive. It's a little lonely out that part of the track. I had this quick vision that if I pull over, I'm going to get out of the car and watch it burn to the ground because there's no one around. So literally, I just stood up wide open on the throttle, tried to find the first fire truck, ambulance, whatever that would have an extinguisher, and happened to be right in front of Club Patron. So I gave all of our guests a great show.
Ever the showman, Scott is nevertheless hoping today doesn't end as flamboyantly. Johannes van Overbeek is behind the wheel and turning heads with some stunning driving.
Magnussen goes to the right-hand side of the circuit. That's a strong move, and it's a strong move that gets done. And here comes the other Ferrari, just as we were talking about. On the right, and takes both of them. Oh, Van Overbeek takes his opportunity. Van Overbeek goes up to 2nd place from 4th in one sweet, deft maneuver. Unbelievable stuff.
Highcroft has run fast and clean, staying out on track and out of trouble. Dyson decides to roll the dice and pits once more. Chris Dyson is out. Guy Smith will take over.
This is a calculated gamble from the team from Poughkeepsie.
Whether Dyson's pit strategy will pay off won't be known for another 90 minutes. But the latest Rahal Letterman BMW pit stop has already proven costly.
During the last round of pit stops, we have a pit lane violation. Car 92, improper pit procedures.
There goes our hard lead.
The American Le Mans Series unleashes something like 20,000 horsepower once again. As into the pit lane comes Tommy Milner to serve his stop-go penalty. He's got to remain calm here.
Flying Lizard Car 45 is turning quick lap after quick lap. So is the Corvette on his rear bumper.
Man, those Corvettes are being quick today. Now, who has the horsepower here?
The GT class is a mess or miracle depending on what you like. 8 cars are on a lead lap, and any one of them can win. Deep into the race's 5th hour, the top 4 GT teams are separated by less than a second.
1, 2, 3, 4 cars, all battling for the lead of GT. Pat Long has given up the lead to Ollie Gavin. Jan Magnussen's hunting in behind. No, he's lost a place now because Joey Hand's gone ahead of him. Oh, my goodness me. All 4 Michelins on the dirt from Pat Long. Just watch it and tell me when they've settled down. This is top quality sports car racing.
It's been a crazy race, a fantastic race.
It is. It's wild, isn't it? Damn flying lizard car went off the hill and down through the dirt and never lifted.
In LMP, Dyson Mazda is trying to run down the leading Highcroft Patron #1. But as night begins to fall, visibility falls with it.
Laguna's running into the nighttime. It's probably going to be cold out there.
With the change in temperature, the wind gets up slightly and the sand comes up across the track. You feel the twitch of the car. You've got to be very aware of that all the time.
I think that's why you see an all-star lineup of drivers from all different genres of motorsport coming and racing in the American Le Mans Series. They want that challenge.
I like the challenge. So you see less around you, so that means I can go quicker.
Yeah, that it's dark, it doesn't really matter too much. We have good headlights on the car, so...
As twilight deepens, the cars are racing into darkness.
As they come down the hill, and Marino holds onto it. He's got to pick the right place here, and he does so. Down the inside, now gets on the anchors. Oh, that's a great piece of driving by Marino. Stopped at the apex of the corner, trying to stop Guy getting a run on him, but we know that Mazda engine's quick and long at the speed. My goodness, that's Jerry Bruckheimer quick. He's just found another complete gear. That was something out of a cartoon.
Dyson's 2-liter Mighty Might of an engine has given them the lead, but can they hold it?
Now, while we've been watching this battle, Christophe Bouchier has gone to the head of the field in LMPC in the 55 Level 5 Motorsports car. As the leader gets held up behind the Autocon car. No, that's the Genoa Racing car in second place, Tom Sutherland. So Tom Sutherland has given up the lead.
The #4 Corvette and Flying Lizard Porsche are still locked in a pitiless fight. Joey Hand's BMW lurks in third, watching for an opportunity.
All right, let's push hard here, Joey. Push hard. We need to catch up to those guys.
Oh, look at this. Pat Long goes for 2 wheels on the dirt, and he's got the inside here. He'll have to take to the grass. Oh, Patrick. You can't do that. You're going to lose second place. Here comes Joey Hand round the outside of Trons and gets it done. But now he's on the wrong side of the circuit. He's losing grip. And Pat Long gets the power down and takes it back round turn number 10. And that just proves how consistent the tyres are.
As darkness falls, Michelin's become lifesavers.
Tyres are the most important thing. That's the only thing that sticks you to the track. It's what gets you around the corners, gets you stopped, and gets you accelerating. So we have to take very good care of them. Michelin is our tyre supplier.
Michelin.
We're definitely going to go with Michelin.
They're the best, you know. They're the best tires.
Michelin has been racing for the better part of a century, so they know what they're doing. But to make sure the teams do, they send a tech with the tires.
Each team that runs the Michelin has a full-time Michelin tire technician there with us. Not just handing us tires, but going through the different compounds and constructions.
We come here with more than enough tires that are suited for this track. It's our job to operate them properly.
They'll recommend what's the best tire for you and try to put the 4 best tires you can on your car.
Not only is the tire worn, but how is it worn? Inside shoulder to outside shoulder? What's the wear pattern? That combined with the driver's comments, and we know what we need to do next.
For Laguna, we're going to have 3 choices for tires. Mediums, soft, and straight soft.
Should be a challenging event now that it's a longer race. So
yeah, especially as changeable as the weather can be there. But it's going to be difficult.
Now, Michelin's greatest strength is resilience to the cold. Track temperatures are dropping fast.
Just to give you an idea of how quick the temperatures are dropping here, at 6 o'clock the temperature was 52 degrees in the air, 66 on track, and it continues to drop. We are well inside the window now for the street soft tyres as Michelin designate them. Let's get back to the GT battle. Joey Hand now beginning to think about second place, but there's no room down there. Pat Long not leaving enough room. Was there a touch there? Was there a touch again? Joey Hand making sure that Pat Long knows he's there. And I would say that Pat is fairly well aware of that at this stage. 1 hour to go. 2 seconds between Smith and Franchitti at the head of the field. 6.9 seconds between Bouchou and Sutherland in LMPC. And about the width of a phone book between the first three in GT. The American Le Mans Series, world class. Don't you just love it? At number 45. Behind him, the BMW is the second place car, Joey Hand. Oh, into the pits comes the leader, Guy Smith, in the pit lane with 51 minutes to go. Ooh, that's tight. Round here, that is going to be tight. Need to put the watch on this one.
Mazda stop is perfect, but not perfect enough. Patron Highcroft takes over the race lead, though the Flying Scot behind the wheel has a moment.
A glorious piece of driving by Marino, put himself off track, but my goodness me, what a recovery!
Great job, Marino, great job.
Now, Highcroft has a decision, whether to pit, and if they do, whether to change tires.
Okay, we are pitting on this lap, Marino. We are going to pit on this lap.
And here comes Franchitti.
We're doing fuel, and I'm not sure about tires, but just be ready. You be ready. Listen to me and look at me. Once you be ready to go, we might not do tires. We might not do tires. On the mark, ignition off. Okay, we're going to probably put about 18 seconds worth of fuel in. Just be prepared. We might do tires. We might not. No tires, guys. No tires, no tires, no tires. Be ready to go, Marino. Be ready. I'll tell you when. I'll tell you when. Fire up, go. Get out of here. Get out of here. Now, this is you, Marino. We got 40 minutes. We got 40 minutes to make this happen.
Highcroft's silky pit stop preserves their lead. There's almost no time left on the racing clock, and just as little grip on their unchanged tires.
Oh, Marino once again drifts wide coming out of 10. And once again, I'm saying to you, he's not got the front end bite on that car.
Franchitti has the lead, but not a lot of traction. Guy Smith in the Mazda is coming, and coming hard, laying down blistering lap times with his fresh tires.
Okay, Marino, those are the kind of numbers we're looking for. We need those kind of numbers consistently.
Now, that is great management of the driver. You're doing great. You don't have to go any quicker. That's good. Just keep it going. There is your leader in GTC. But they started on pole position, and Black Swan have really stamped their authority on this race.
The number 54 Black Swan Porsche has dominated, leading all but a handful of laps.
In LMPC, well, Tom Sutherland at the moment is leading in the Genoa Racing prototype, and there he is, just being lapped again by Marino Franchitti, our overall leader. The red car has been there or thereabouts all day.
Genoa Racing's comfortable lead in LMPC is a rare luxury. Usually fractions of a second can mean the difference between the podium and disappointment.
A half a second in our sport is an eon. It's an eternity. Right now, we're fighting for hundreds of seconds, sometimes thousands of seconds. We're fighting for every single inch out there on the racetrack every single weekend.
The crew guys, that's a, you know, they're searching for every second.
It can be incredibly close. The driver has to be at the optimum level.
Focus on driving the car and getting the most out of it. Let your mind drift for half a second. You are in the ditch.
It's about thinking about what's going to happen before it happens, and then your reactions are much better.
Have the confidence, the self-belief, and the machinery and the people around them. That in itself can actually find time.
When it comes down to 1 point on the final season, you think back to maybe that first or second race where you might have had to take an extra chance to get a point, and you know that you've really earned that championship at the end of the year.
Patrick Long has the lead, but it's getting slimmer by the lap. He has no choice. He must pit for fuel.
Here he comes. 34 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Here's the GT leader. This is the last of the pit stops for the leading GT cars, and Patrick Long brings in the 45 Flying Lizard.
12 seconds of fuel. Make sure you hit your mark. Fuel only, fuel only. About 12 seconds of fuel. Hold the brake when you're there.
12 seconds of fuel. You heard the call from the radio on the pit wall. It's going to be tight.
Close.
It's going to be very tight indeed. They'll clean the screen, but no tyres brought out.
Ready?
It's a cliche, but it's true. Races can be won or lost in the pits.
They lost a couple of seconds there, and that could be crucial. We're looking out on the pit lane. Where is Joey Hart? There he is. There's the BMW coming through. Now, he's going to go the long way around the corner. Pat is now out of the restricted part of the pit lane, but we'll have to brake for the corner. Look how tight it is. It's going to be very tight indeed, but the BMW just gets through. Do you know, getting that horse out might have just cost him the lead.
BMW assumes the GT lead.
Now, this is our race to win, so let's get it.
Oh, that's the Smith car. That is Guy Smith.
Car 16, stop, turn 4, driver's left. Full course caution, pits are closed. Full course caution, pits are closed. Safety car, dispatch, hold, exit, turn 2.
With 24 minutes to go on the Yorkshireman exit stage right. What a disaster for the team from Poughkeepsie. And the pole-sitting car looks as if that has brought their charge to the front to a cruel, cruel end.
Bummer, huh?
And that is a major disappointment for those guys.
5.5 hours of Herculean effort, gone in an instant. Racing can be unspeakably cruel.
CBS Sports Spectacular presents the American Le Mans Series Monterey, presented by Porsche. Sponsored by Porsche. There is no substitute. And by Michelin, a better way forward.
Just over 20 minutes remain. As the spectators try to keep warm, the GT drivers are trying to get heat in their tires as they ready for the restart and the dash to the checkered flag.
We're going green this time. We're going green this time. Going green this time. Going green this time.
second and third, down through the corkscrew.
Trying to get to the guys ahead of you. We're trying to get to the guys ahead.
And Marino Franchitti leads the hordes into the darkness.
Green flag.
Patrick Long's pass is a stunning piece of driving.
Now let's go back to the restart. There's the BMW, and inside of him is Pat Long making the pass into turn 11, and that could be the move of the race right there. This has been a race where the smallest margins will have made the differences.
Two more laps, Patrick. You got the BMW behind you.
Pat Long is under attack, and it's just half a second. Only half a second between Pat Long and Joey Hand.
The BMW is fast, but is it fast enough? Through the dark they roar, nose to tail. The two German manufacturing giants at it, hammer and tongue.
The white flag being held out by Dennis Paul on the starter stand.
Hey, this is your white flag lap. This is your white flag lap.
Patron Highcroft has the LMP, all but one. But the GTs are roaring through the night, each pushing the envelope, straining against the limits of adhesion. A 6-hour race shouldn't come down to a 2.2-mile sprint. But there it is, Patrick Long and Joey Hand, like hare and hound, screaming into the night.
Last lap, one more.
Last lap, separated by less than a second. Marino has nursed the Highcroft home. It is a job well done.
Marino Franchitti brings it home for Patron Highcroft.
You're up to the Laguna Seca race. Congratulations.
LMPC leader is Christoph Bouchou, the level 5 car. He comes through. There they are. This is the battle for the top step of the GT podium. With 3 corners left to go, and Joey Hand is almost within striking distance. Still traffic ahead of the Porsche. Joey Hand weaves to the left, trying to put Pat off. He's taken a huge amount of speed in the last corner. It's a drag race to the line, which is a long way away. But the Porsche, it's the Porsche. The Black Swan Racing team will come home to win GTC.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you guys, you're the best team in the world. Woo! Yeah! We're the best team in the valley, boys! Absolutely amazing. Absolutely the best drive of my life.
Congratulations on the hard.
Congratulations to everyone. What a great job, team. Great job.
Absolutely amazing.
What's up, man? Awesome. You're the best.
Yeah. I was, oh yeah. But I was completely all the way locked up and over the curb. I didn't see that. It was like a rental cart.
This is the face of joy. And these are the champions. Men who pushed past normal limits and found victory. To endure and find speed when others can't is the soul of racing. Here is its heart.